give
you.
it to you. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? Are your conversations making a difference? With a passion for words and a heart for conversation, Teresa Velardi is a self-professed word nerd, best-selling author, BizCat 360 columnist, and publisher. Children's books as well as fiction and nonfiction books are welcomed at We Be Books Publishing and Book Endeavors, the imprints of her company, Authentic Endeavors Publishing. Whether written or spoken, Teresa strives to encourage and inspire meaningful conversations that make a difference. Here's the host of Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. I'm so excited to be here with you on this Tuesday night, the first Tuesday of May. We are live on the first and third Tuesday for 1 hour at 5 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch replays at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. each Tuesday, even when I'm not live. So I want to just say that Conversations That Make a Difference is on Dreamvisions 7 Radio Network, where you can listen to the videos, as I said, live, or you can listen to them on your online in your car, and you can even ask Alexa to play Dreamvisions 7 Radio Network. So before we get started, I usually start every show with a prayer. So we're going to do our regular Conversations That Make a Difference Serenity Prayer. So let's start with that. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose, and all of God's great universes conspiring in our favor. And we gratefully say, amen.
Amen. Thank you for starting us off like that, Teresa.
Oh, you're welcome. So I have with me the incredible, handsome Vincent Lanci. Let me tell you a little bit about him before we get started. Vincent A Lanci, by the way. We call him the mindful entrepreneur. He's dedicated to normalizing the conversation around mental health. And after surviving a traumatic brain injury and struggling with mental health challenges, Vincent realized the importance of improving his own mental health, and he has since dedicated his life to help others do the same. 2 books, children's books, Going to School and Back to School, complete his mental health book series, Healthy Minds. He looks forward to speaking with students around the world and about his books and about the topic of mental health. Vincent, welcome to my show. I've been on yours a couple of times. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to connect with your audience, and a chance to sit down with you again is always really fun. So I'm really looking forward to diving into our book talk, as it always gets nerdy in the best ways.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm really excited to have you here. So, tell if you would just tell my audience a little bit more about yourself and a little bit more about how the injury happened and some of what you had to go through. I want them to hear it from your mouth, because of course you went through it, and you are a walking miracle. Who are these people that are coming on here?
Hopefully some supporters of either you or I, or some book lovers that saw me share it. But again, my name is Vincent, and the reason that I started my writing career, it was never planned. I went to school for finance, for MBA. I was hit by an intoxicated driver walking home one evening. I woke up about a week later out of a coma, and I had to respond to the nurse when she asked, "Which school do you go to, Vincent?" I said Pulaski Elementary School. I was a 21-year-old finance student who was set so far back. I thought I was in kindergarten. So with that came obvious challenges. I had to relearn how to walk, talk. I had to relearn to spell, what my name was, what grade I was in, as I had a traumatic brain injury, severe, and a broken fib, where I now have a rod running through my leg. But as I began to recover, I just wanted more out of life. And I'm sure we'll get into the nitty gritty of the journey, but for the purposes of here today, I became an author, and now my 6th book, Going to School, just came out the first day of spring, and the bundle Back to School is all written, ready to be set for first day of summer, ready for the new school year. And I am just really passionate about the work I do now with educating people that it's okay to have feelings, it's okay to have emotions, and it's okay to have challenging times, because that is normal. We are human, it is life. And I try to just make it a little bit easier for you.
That's awesome. I mean, I can't imagine what life was like shortly after you went through that life-changing event. And how long ago was it? You were 21 years old. So how long ago were we talking about?
It's crazy to think that it just passed the 10-year anniversary in January.
Wow.
But those first 6 years, even through graduate school, I couldn't remember anything without writing it down. I mean, now I'm a big proponent of still writing things down, but I was so reprogrammed to write things down in my iCalendar, my planner, my desk calendar over and over and over again. Because even as a student, I had to relearn how to study. I was a guy who can look over a piece of paper and get a B. I went from someone that did that to someone that had to relearn to study. I had to read, write, type, read, write, type, read, write, type over and over and over and over again, just to retain 1/10 of that information. And the discipline, obviously, I always had a good work ethic, I feel, but through this accident, it really took it to a new level. And I think that directly hopped over to entrepreneurship, where, as you know, it's the 24/7 if you let it be. I am now just grateful that we're making more strides. I mean, they told me in the beginning of this, hey, entrepreneurship, you might take 10 years before you get anywhere where you want to even come close to, which isn't a lie. I mean, here we are. I guess I spoke in 2015 for my MBA, where this all slowly started. First book behind me, Left for Dead, was 2019.
Yeah.
So it seems like 30 years of it, but here we are now. What, 5 years later, finally sitting down on your show?
Yeah, it's awesome. And, I want to, a couple of times you and I have talked about the power of writing, and you just alluded to that it helped you to remember things. It helped you to come back to, who you are, and being able to not just function, but thrive in a world that seemed foreign to you after you had the accident, right? So how has writing these children's books and your autobiography, Left for Dead, how has this really helped you with your own mental health and your abilities, your abilities as a writer? Because your books, I've read one of them. I have one. It's good. So, how did this all help you to bring this series to life? And what do you have planned for the future in terms of writing?
Oh, wow. Well, that is a deep question, so I'm going to do my best. I think that the series came on accident. I didn't plan on writing a mental health book series. My first book is mental health related. I haven't decided if I'll rebrand that cover as part of the Healthy Minds series, but I realized the importance of mental health when you have no other choice. I had my back against the wall. I was relearning to walk around my house. I never had crutches. I went from the wheelchair to the cane. I skipped that phase. Just the relentlessness that it took for me to even make a baby step. I knew that I had to go to every doctor, every appointment, even if I didn't want to, or I would never get back down to Tampa. My parents were in New York. It was 28 degrees when I landed, snow up to the back glass door. I said, no. I just left 82 degrees. So little baby steps to get back to where I was. That's where I started writing. I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this entrepreneurial journey for so long, that itty bitty committee in my head. Am I good enough? Should I even be doing this? Why would anybody read my books? But then once I spoke at graduation, I realized my story is bigger than I thought it was. And I say that in the most humble way possible, because we all have a story to share, and you never know which part of your story will help someone. But I started writing and just got into that therapeutic zone where you can write, as you know, for days until you fall asleep, and you just escape your problems in a way. But you also, in my books at least, help others through that story. The mental health books, I mean, the Going to School, I said, is that toddler book I wrote in English and Spanish, because I've been taking Spanish lessons for 2 years. I'm still nowhere where I want to be, but it's not easy as an adult to learn that. But I realized I had a book for every age group besides the toddlers. After COVID, these kids got stripped of everything they know. Go to school, have fun with your friends, whatever. And that's what led me to write Mental Health Week, which is the go-to book for elementary school kids, probably 3rd grade to 6th grade, where I'm a 5th grade teacher and I take the kids on a Mental Health Week field trip to end the school year. Similar to the Magic School Bus, this is the Magic Track, where you walk around the Magic Track and different things happen, you learn. But before that, I had Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. This came out before that maybe the Hillary Trump election. I wanted to give adults a resource because that was a pretty challenging time to cast your vote. But a tip for all writers out there, don't go out there and just force the book, because I had no marketing efforts, nothing planned at all. That book did my least well in the beginning. I just wanted I was ignorant. I needed this book out then. No, this toddler book got delayed for my first illustrator had a health issue. So she left, had to get a second illustrator. There was just so many pieces that caused this book delayed, where I wanted this to be a holiday book last holidays as the second release date, but it ended up being the first day of spring. So everyone out there, let it happen, divine time. But I chose this mental health book series because I know that some folks, my podcast, The Mental Health Break, isn't for them. I know some folks don't want to hear speaking engagements. They want to be alone reading a book, or their kids are going to be in school reading a book. So that was my efforts behind this, where the Healthy Minds book series, I've got a book from newborn-ish, when you can learn to read, all the way up to adults, because I know that I had a challenging time. And when I was a kid, especially, there was no mental health talk, let alone mental health books. So granted, marketing isn't my forte. It's just not something I'm the best at. I'm hoping to outsource more soon, but for now, the work I can do is put these books out. And Back to School, again, will be out first day of summer. That's that early education book to partner up with my elementary school book. I think at that point, my mental health series of writing will be done, as I've got other ambitions. Like, Teresa here's got the 25, 30 books probably by now.
No, not quite. Not quite 25 or 30 by myself, and thankfully you are part of a daily gift of gratitude, and your story, here tells, even though you've been through a lot, you're living proof that gratitude breeds good things, because you say in here, my view of gratitude changed during this transformative experience. I became more grateful for things I previously took for granted. I became grateful for being alive, grateful for being able to walk, grateful for being able to talk and to use the bathroom on my own. People are like, there are some people who are just like, and I have a few of them around me who are like, oh, I have nothing to be grateful for. When you go through something that is so totally unexpected as you did, and it comes down to being able to use the bathroom on your own, being able to stand up, being able to take that first step, there's always something to be grateful for. And I think it's all a matter of the mind and what you focus on. That's why I think your mental health series is really so important for people. And, one of the things that I talked about when I was on your show, the mental health series, is how the writing helped me through a traumatic time in my life. I was in a relationship, an abusive relationship that was literally killing me. It was literally killing me. And the way that I got through it was to write everything down that I was feeling. Would you agree that there is something that happens from your mind through your body and onto the paper that is healing about writing when it comes to mental health?
Oh, it's very therapeutic, because you're able to express yourself, and obviously speaking, socializing is good for your mental health, even if it's to the paper. Creativity is another big mental health boost that I talk about in my books. And with writing, you're able to get creative, you're able to think outside the box, and puts you at a place of ease. At least in my experience, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I felt in just a comfort zone when I'm writing, and I never thought it would be a career, let alone even writing one book. But here we are. You're my 5th book, so lucky to be a part of that. And it's easier said than done to be grateful all the time. I'm guilty of it, because life does get challenging, but you surround yourself with the right people to ground you, or you have the right resources in front of you, like Teresa's book that you just held up. all those stories in there will give you a little bit of a perspective where, okay, maybe it could be worse, because it could always be worse. Even on your worst day, someone is doing worse. And I
Exactly.
try to remember that even on times where I think maybe I don't sound grateful right now of all these things. Everybody wants things to happen so quick right now. And I learned that it's not going to be that way, especially as a writer. It's going to take some time. I mean, look at me. I even got too stubborn to give up in a way, because I don't, where schools just ran out of budgets. I tried so hard to get into schools. I was making money in schools, but not sustainable income, where I was doing too much for free. It's never too much for free, but you do have to make a living. I do have to find ways to survive. So I did other part-time hustles in the meantime, this and that. Now I'm working more closely with nonprofits because they have more of a budget. Schools I've now worked on, and here's a tip for people. I've collaborated with some local businesses who wanted to sponsor some books to bring into the classrooms, because they can't afford it right now. And it stinks, because there's so much going on in the school districts where kids are really getting the, you know, what end of the stick. They're not getting not just my assemblies or books, but they're getting nothing. They're getting nothing. So big shout out to Mickey Subs. We're doing one when this is live right now next week. He's a sandwich shop here in Tampa, the best Italian sub I've had in Florida. And that's something a lot from me. He sponsored 30 books and some subs to bring into West Shore Elementary, where I do most of my substitute teaching and volunteering, when that was my big side hustle. So I'm excited for that, because the kids do need the books. They do need the resources. It's just, when you can't find a way in, you got to create a new way in. And
Exactly.
it might not be one that's paying me per se the most, but it's doing what the overall objective is, and that's to get the books into school. And when I left finance behind the degree, I gave up that quick money, and I have to always remember that the money will come. I just have to stick to the mission, and it has come. It's you know, things have certainly gotten better, but with schools, okay, is there other ways to help children? Are there nonprofits? Are there clubs? Are there organizations? Are there sponsors? So I'm really, really excited now with going to school, because that's more of the daycares and the newborns, parents, and you know, I've got 18 reviews on that now, which is the most of any of my books combined by a whole lot. So I'm humbled, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to put this book out.
Yeah. And so, and the book is on Amazon too, for people to be able to get it, right? So I'll put a link.
You know, as an author, the Amazon changes and the author headaches that they've created. That book took me 8 uploads to get up, and I got accepted into Barnes and Noble, which is cool. I got an email one day, but the size of that book doesn't work for the size of that book for Barnes and Noble. And I tried doing it, and then I hired someone. It didn't come out. So now someone's working on it right now. So I'm super delayed with it. But again, in divine time, the book will be up. But Barnes and Nobles was sweet. That was a pretty cool accomplishment, because I am also published. I don't have anyone. I did it all. So it was like well, I didn't do it all alone. You know, the illustrators, the people in my books, the collaborations like this, that where we get advice from each other. You never do it alone, but to not have a big publishing company behind me to get Barnes and Noble was a pretty cool email.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. So, yes. And the thing is, one of the things, there are some challenges with a variety of different ways to get the books out there. And if you don't have someone who's doing it for you, and you're just kind of tripping over yourself along the way, I mean, it's a live and learn. Everything is live and learn, right? Everything. So you have to just like put one foot in front of the other and keep going. And you are a man on a mission. You're a man on a mission. I think that most of us these days are on a mission. You know, the world is so crazy. We're not going to get into all the details, but the world, there's a lot of crazy stuff. So for people like you and me who bring, I want to say, sanity to the pages of our book, that can really help people to find a way through whatever it is that they're going through, and make a difference for someone else. And that's what this podcast is all about: conversations that make a difference. This is a huge platform for people to, between the books that Vincent's putting out, between the show, between the shows that you do, we have to get the word out so that people can really have good mental health, given the information that Vincent's putting out there. It's not always easy, especially when, you might believe one thing and the world is telling you another, and then you start questioning whether or not you are sane. So then that's where the writing comes in. I write about it and say, okay, so where am I? And I go to God. I go to God and say, hey, how can I make it through this situation? I'm facing circumstances right now that are not the most pleasant, and I know that there's a solution, and a solution that's going to be the best one for me. It may not be the one that I think might happen, but it's certainly going to be the best one for me, because nothing happens without a reason for it to happen, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to have to take a break in a minute, but I want to just ask you quickly. The situation with the schools now, the non-for-profits, and they're able to bring in the food like you just talked about from these places that sponsored you, correct?
Yeah.
And have you, I'm just curious because I got asked this question the other day. Have you searched out grant money for these projects that you're doing with mental health? And do you know if there's something available out there for educational purposes for books that people are writing?
Well, I am an S Corp, so I can't get those grants. I launched a nonprofit in the beginning, but I quickly learned that you can't pay other people till you can pay yourself. So that dream got put on the hold for at least another 6 months to a year. But I got these local businesses. A lot of people do want to do good out there. So I had to just have the courage to reach out and ask and find people and then let them know. And then other people hear and they'll come to me. I did join I'm not done with the registration. I have it here on a tab called Kickstarter. That is a website where you put up your mission and all these things and people donate to your cause. So with that, I'm hoping that people will donate for books, and you give little, what do they call it? Like a reward where if people donate $100, I'll give them 5 copies signed of my books. If they donate 10, I'll donate one of my courses to them, because that's something I was recently told about. So I was trying to grow. A lot of money is being left on the table for all the things I do, how to start a podcast, how to grow a podcast. Because I do these webinars and now in person with Hillsborough Community College here in Tampa, where to begin in entrepreneurship, where to begin in writing. So now when they hear my webinars, I can monetize that webinar or that in speaking engagement, where if you want to learn more, I got the books, or I have the course, or you name it. Just, you never know until you grow.
Wealth of information, and it doesn't stop at the books, everybody. It's being an author does not stop with the book. It becomes a mission to get your message out there, right? And on that note, we're just going to have to take a break for just a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back with more from Vincent Lanci. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good stuff.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Canavas, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred stories of transformational hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dreamvision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
This is Dreamvision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back. I love that little reminder. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow. I love it. Sometimes we get caught up in what are we going to say next? And just take a breath. What are we going to do next? Just take a breath, right? So I wanted to bring some attention to the second book in this series, the Daily Gift book series. Started off with gratitude, which of course we just talked about. Vincent wrote a story in. And now the next one is a daily gift of hope. And Vincent will be submitting a story for that one as well. And so if you are interested in getting published, if you're even thinking about the possibility of becoming an author, sometimes the best way to have that happen is by, like, I call it dipping your toe in the lake of publishing, which means that you just write like 300 words and get published in a book with a bunch of other authors who are talking about the same topic in a way that suits them, and you can hear their voice on each one of the pages. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go to dailygiftbookseries.com. All the information is there for a daily gift of hope and a daily gift of kindness, which is going to come right. The two of these books will be out by the end of the year. And actually, I'm going to give away something right now. If you are any of the first 5 people who want to become part of this book, if you just text the word hope to 570-230-4185, I will get back to you with the information that you need in order to be able to participate in that book. And I hope you will take advantage of that gift. So, Vincent, the next one is a daily gift of hope. You're bringing hope to a lot of people who have had situations similar to you, and little children who are looking to get through this game we call life from the start. How is that affecting you in terms of your own mental health and where you see your life going in the future?
Well, without hope, we don't really have much. It's a dangerous two-edged sword, because hope can lead you too far in the wrong way if it's not in the right way. I know that sounds confusing, but in the entrepreneurial world, especially where it all revolves around mental health, there's a lot of false hope. And what I mean by that is people like to talk. People like to talk without intention, speak without intention, promise things for no reason. And that kind of hope, I can give some examples. I had someone who came on my show. She mentioned she had international ties with her organization in another country, that she would get my books over there for me. And I said, this is a great opportunity. I brought her on my other shows just because it seemed like this is the least I can do. But then when it came time to get the contact for those books, it was only if I was the president of her nonprofit here in Florida for free, a free role. And then she would give me that contact. But I kindly explained, I don't have enough time to do what I want to do at this point, because I'm doing 3 podcasts. I'm in the middle of 2 books. I have to make money in my part-time jobs, all these things. So that kind of hope led me on for so long. I mean, I had a principal up north in a state that I didn't come from, wanted one of my books. So I sent her a book for her kids. She tells me what grades the book's going to be good for, how many books she'll want. And then when it came time to pay me, she just ghosted me, never responded. I followed up 3 times, no response. All of this type of hope, that's months and months I'm waiting, thinking I'm going to have this opportunity to make a difference in a new place, but it gets drawn back. But there is great hope, like when you're recovering from an injury and all of a sudden you have one small win that carries over to the next small win. Then all of a sudden I can walk, and then I can talk, and I can read, and I can get back down to school, and I can graduate. So that hope is good. Yeah. But I think that it taught me, even further, don't count your chickens before they hatch, even if they seem like they're gonna crack and ripe. But I mean, I think that it's just important to spread, the positive hope, the correct hope, which
Yeah.
is what you're doing with that book, all these collaborative stories. Be sure to buy her books as it is, but this next book is going to be a really, really special one. And I'm very grateful to be a part of that again.
Yeah.
I think that the work you do is so important because, again, like my stories and shows, you never know whose story or which part of someone's story is going to resonate with you the most, where you're from, what they went through, that they have a sister, a brother, your job. You never know what will click inside your head that will give you that deep breath to move forward.
Yeah, it's true. You're absolutely right. And shame on those people who step up and say that they're going to do something for you and then they just back away. And there are a lot of people in the world today who will get what they can get for nothing from you when you offer something as a gift, and then they turn around and they just don't follow through on their part. And I don't know. There's a lot of that going on, but we're not going to stay in that. We're just going to stay in the hope
Positive
that,
thoughts only. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring that to
Yeah.
light. It hopes I encourage others out there to be mindful of their words.
exactly.
If people do believe you when you speak, if they're
Yeah.
honest people, I never was choice to lie. I tell the truth, even if it doesn't serve me properly. I just don't like to waste time and other people's time. And
Yeah.
this we're beginning in my entrepreneurial, really getting the wheels turning. I'm like, this could be it. This could be the missing piece I had. And now I'm just more mindful of who I spend my time with, who I do my shows with as guests. It's not just about doing any guest appearance anymore. I'm making sure who I'm doing that with has some sort of values and beliefs, and in this case, religious as well. I'm someone who goes to church 5 days a week at least.
God bless you. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's right. And that's what I wanted to bring forward. Like, be a person of your word, like follow through with what it is that you're going to do. Be the light in the darkness that other people are standing in. And because light kills darkness, right? Like, it drowns out the darkness. Where there is a candle, there is light, and the darkness can't live there. So absolutely, be a person of your word, do things because they're the right thing to do. It's interesting. My son owns a restaurant here in the Scranton area. And he has the opportunity to work with a lot of people. And all I can say is people are interesting. That's my word. If I don't have a word for something, Vincent, that's the word I use. It's interesting, because it just gives you something to think about. Because a lot of these things that I'm hearing about and watching in various places in the world, I personally wouldn't subscribe to them. But there are people who do. And that's why they need people like you and me, who are bringing in a message of hope, a message of healing, a message of wellness, a message of, being truthful, being honest, being aware, awake and aware. And, one of the things that I used to write at the end of something was, be awake, aware, and alive. You're only given this one life. And so, live it to the best of your ability, regardless of what happens. I mean, look at yourself, Vincent. I mean, and by the way, you grew up in New York, right? You grew up in Long Island.
Yeah.
And I did too. And so sometimes you have to go back to your roots and where your family is in order to be able to get your head wrapped around like what's going on in your neighborhood, rather than what's going on in the world. And to that, I want to say there's something that keeps coming up for me recently. You may have a lot of people in your circle, but not all of them are in your corner. Right? So be careful. They say we are the product of the 5 people that we hang around most. So who are you choosing? Right? And so it sounds to me like you're making the choice to be with people who are going to help you live out your mission, which is to make a difference in the world in so many ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, I started my entrepreneurial journey maybe at an earlier age than the typical founder of a company. I was getting out of college where I found myself much more immature. Still have a long way to go, of course. I'm not, saying I'm a grandpa or nothing.
We all do.
I did a lot of maturing, and not that I was hanging out with the wrong people. They just weren't aligned exactly with what I'm doing. I also was a victim of burnout and all these things where I sort of drowned myself in the work and the writing, which was good. In some ways, it, kept me on a straight path here at my recovery. It's something I was just into, but now I've taken it upon myself to have more of a social life and interact. I neglected being in the community and networking events and all these things for so long because I was just so busy working. And now I'm giving myself more of the opportunity to get more around people again. And now as an adult, they're somewhat related in my industry. I've been dating again, started dating someone in January, as this is in May. So I'm back living a more normal life. I had these abnormal hours where I'm up at 3, I'm in the gym by 4:30, and I go to bed at 8 o'clock like a grandpa. And it was just no way to really live at this point in my life. I'm back in networking. I mean, last week I had 2 networking events. This weekend we got another 2. I'm just out here in Tampa, the Best Buddies organization. They have them all over the world, but Best Buddies here in Tampa. We've been getting involved more with them. Shout out to Mark Oliver, the Specially Fit Academy. He's got homes for disabled kids all over Florida. And now he's got this athletic program going on with them. And I believe if anybody here is listening on in Florida, June 3rd is his summer bash. I will be selling my books to fundraise for his mission, where I'll be donating some of my sales to everything he's got going on. So there are a lot of great ways to get involved in the community that can mutually be beneficial, where I want to raise awareness for what I'm doing, but I also love their missions and I want to help them out, gain awareness for them. So it's been really exciting to get back in the communities. Started Big Brothers, Big Sisters here now that I'm over in St. Petersburg. Before this call, that was what I was going to do. We moved it around. He is a 7th grader, taller than me, but he is a 7th grader here in the area. We went and got some sushi before. The other day I went to his flag football game. So I know I'm going to get just as much out of it as him. It's something that I always wanted to do, and now I'm finally making time for it. So just really finding ways to grow without drowning myself in work, which I think is a good lesson for everyone. Give yourself a break, because I didn't.
Absolutely. Great advice. I'm one of those people who drown myself in work. Drown myself in whatever it is I'm doing. And please be sure to send me the information on that event in June, because we'll post it with the video of the show so that people can go there. And I know a lot of people in Florida, so.
Yeah, it's really, really going to be exciting. He's got a great thing going on, all these homes for these kids to thrive and just live in an environment that they can succeed in. And it works. So I think he's got 7 or something, and he's got an animal therapy home too. He's really doing it. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I love to hear stories like this where people are in their own way and their own with their own gifts and talents are making a difference in the world. And we all have different gifts and talents. The first one that I discovered was my ability to make pottery.
Yes, I know that.
You remember? So we talked about that. So the bottom line is that we all come with something. I believe that we all come with something that is going to take us through this life on this planet, regardless of who we are, where we are. We have been given a gift of some sort that's going to help us to be able to get through life, pay our bills and get through life as we do what we are led to do with those gifts and talents. And you know what? I believe that we were meant here to have, we came here and we were meant to have an abundant life, not that we have to scrape the bottom of the barrel for, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So, let's see, we've covered so much ground already. Is there
me and you have spoken a few times now where we're kind of natural in the way we speak and conversate. So we're very efficient, I feel, with our team. We could talk more about your next book. We briefly touched on it, but why don't we shed some more light on that?
Sure. The next one is Daily Gift of Hope, as we said. And, Vincent is a perfect example of hope story, having having had, for lack of a better phrase, the wind clearly knocked out of his sails called life, and then pick yourself up, dust yourself off, not only start all over again, but make a difference for those around you, because you know what it's like to be down and have to really crawl your way back up. So if you have a story that you had something happen in your life that maybe wasn't so good, but you got through it and you have hope to share with other people who may go through it, that's the thing, and this is how I feel about writing too. If you have gone through something and found your way to the other side of whatever that something is, I feel it's our responsibility to share whatever it was that we did to succeed, and to be able to have that feeling of hope, to be able to have that feeling of gratitude, to be able to share it with somebody else through the kindness of your heart, the loving kindness. I have an author who has a children's book coming out, and it's about loving kindness. And I just love the fact that she chose my publishing company to be able to put it out there. So yeah, that's lots of good stuff happening around. But when we come back from the break that we're going to go to in just a second, I want to talk about how you make a difference for people on your little podcast that you do. You have little snippets. I have the long hour-long conversation, but you have these little snippets of information that you bring to light from people around the country and hopefully around the globe soon. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you do that and how we can get some people to listen to you at a different on the other side of the conversation. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Vincent Lanci.
When you think about being healthy and happy, do you consider the 24 areas of your life? Probably not. With the All Things Wellness Wheel, you become self-empowered, allowing you to make healthier decisions about relationships, nutrition, sleep, exercise, stress, and even your value system. The All Things Wellness book series, written by Peggy Wilms and Dr. Marcus Bettstein, teaches about the ATW wheel and brings dozens of true and personal stories from real people. The first of these multi-author books, The Fourfold Formula, features the foreword written by the Celestine Prophecy author, James Redfield, and is now available on Amazon. Reserve your spot now to become a published author in Book 2, Win the Wellness War, We Are Responsible. Visit allthingswellness.com/author for more information.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust to learn her astonishing secret. Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to Happy, Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of the Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Cannabis. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide.
This is Dreamvisions 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Do you believe our hour is almost over? We have about 12 minutes to go.
Hey, we'll make most of those 12 minutes. I think that we've put a lot of good value out there for people
Yeah.
who are interested in this subject. I'm already looking forward to our next chat. I mean, I know it was sometime this year, whether on mine or yours, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about yours for a few minutes. You have two different podcasts that you do, one that is focused on mental health and another one that is focused on authors. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, we got three. I had
Wow.
four, but that was just me being too ambitious, so I stopped the fourth. That Entrepreneur Show, I launched December 7th or 9th, 2019. I've had weekly episodes each week since. Humble to say it's now a top 3% in the global podcast. That show, I mean, it's crazy to say top 3% in the globe because I started that show out getting 1 or 2 listens on each episode using my network, and now weekly episodes ever since. I got like my latest goal with that is to interview a founder in every state here because I went international with like 30 countries of founders. I've got, some of those Midwest, out west set states that are tough to hit, but that show, different founder of a company or brand each week to share their journey to help you on yours. Now the two that she's been on, A Mental Health Break, that is top 10% in the globe now. That is a show, weekly episode since January 2020, coincidentally right before COVID, where everybody had free time. So I was able to record a whole bunch and let them out. That has no prerequisites to join. That is just people sharing their story related to mental health, because we are not alone, and sharing your story is powerful. Doctors, regular folks like you and I, everything in between come on that show. Both shows I do a spotlight story relating to mental health and a company that would give people a different perspective on business. And then I had that shiny object syndrome with Instagram for so long, I neglected YouTube. So I started writing with authors. The hardest 100 followers you're ever going to get. I put writing with authors out. That's right to the show, right to the point, 10-minute episodes around where people just talk about their work, inspire others through writing too, because writing's hard. It's not as easy as just picking up a pen or start writing. I think the stat with how many people finish the book that started is like 1% or 2%. I recently, my courses, we talked about that. I launched a unfinished manuscript coaching practice where I'm now working with people who had unfinished manuscripts, because there's a lot of book coaches out there. So I was getting lost in the waves. So now we're doing this. Shout out to my good friends Carlos and Shane for helping me redirect my message on the writing courses. But those 3 shows, that's what I'm passionate about: entrepreneurship, mental health, and writing. And now I have built a pretty decent base with those shows where there's these podcast agents now. I'm sure you come across them where they give guests to you in your inbox. I don't always accept all of them because you do have to respect the authenticity and the viewers of the show to make sure the story is valuable for them. But I mean, it's great. Like I said, everybody likes different mediums. It might not be the books, it might not be the courses, it might be the podcast. I had audio for 2 of them. Now I have the video with YouTube because I was like, okay, people might want to just watch. They might want to see our faces. So you never know. You try to help everybody the best you can. But for this podcast, I really am thankful for this opportunity because I had a great time. Seems like 5 minutes went by, but it's been
I know, it just like flies. It flies by when you're having fun. So if people want to listen to some of your podcasts, where do they go?
All major platforms, That Entrepreneur Show or A Mental Health Break. My website, vincentalanci.com. If I got a podcast tab there. Vincent A Lanci on YouTube. That's got my writing with authors and a bunch of other content I put out, which some advice from the schools. I've been doing read alouds. It takes a long time to read this book out loud, and you look really weird to me looking at yourself reading the book. But teachers say that sometimes they just put on YouTube and they just put things on. So if I can't sell my books in bulk to the school, maybe we'll encourage a teacher or a student to buy the book because I'm reading it in there. I mean, like with Mental Health Week, this was made for the classroom because I have learning checkpoints in there, as you can see, and brain checks as they're reading the book. I mean, all my books have activities after book 2. They all have got different activities because I learned that's something that can separate people and hands-on work. I mean, I'm excited for the next one, but not tired of writing. There's a part of me, and I don't share this often, but I do. A part of me, it's more important to accomplish what's next after this chapter. And I'm still just getting started, 6 books, 3 podcasts later with 30,000 downloads. I want to be more accomplished, more than just the guy who got hit by a car. I don't want to, not that I'm diminishing any of the work I do. I love the mental health work. I love the entrepreneurship work. I love the writing work. But for me, the next chapter that's post podcast, post books, post getting hit by a drunk driver is just as important to me. And I'm so eager to get that going. There's a few people in my immediate circle who know what I've been working on for the last year and a half that I have not announced yet, that I will not announce until I just shock the world with releasing it. But that is going to be, and it's still somewhat tied to all this, but it's not directly the books and the podcast. It's something new. I mean, whether it's another company that is just not related to any of this stuff at all, or a new foundation that's off to something different. I mean, because my end life goal still isn't hit because it's going to take more financial resources. But right now, VincentALanci.com. I'm at Vincent A Lanci on all social media and YouTube. If you heard me on this show, shoot me a message so I follow you back. I would love to connect. I do free discovery calls. I'd love to just connect with people and see what you have going on, see how we can help each other. And then also be on the lookout for my free webinars with Hillsborough Community College. They're on Eventbrite. Just type in Vincent A Lanci. They're on my link in bio, usually on Instagram. I do where to begin in entrepreneurship and how to start writing. Those are absolutely free. You just log on and go to Zoom, or if you're here in Tampa, head to the ECC, the Entrepreneur Collaborative Center in Ybor. I will be doing my first in-person one with them. I've done 5 months in a row virtual. Now they asked me to step it up and come in person. So I'm real hyped about that. Definitely come out and show some love, connect with me, and meet some of my people in my network and the community.
Awesome. Vincent, you've got it all going on, my friends. You've got a lot of stuff happening.
I don't think so, but I think I'm piecing it together now.
Well, let me tell you that you've got a lot of pieces to that puzzle put together already. You're out there, you're sharing your knowledge, you're sharing your experience, you're giving hope to people who have gone through so many things similarly to you. Especially, I love the fact that you're focusing on mental health and helping people, especially children, to be able to live a life with a healthy mind, because that's more important than anything, I think. So you've got a lot going on, and I hope that people will really take you up on listening to your podcasts. And
all that's free. There's no charge to listen. Just like that, it's a free podcast. If you don't like it, the worst thing that happens, you put 20 minutes into it, but you definitely got something out of it, whether you didn't like it or not. I mean, mental health, entrepreneurship. I work hard to give you, just like Teresa does, and it's not easy to find guests that are deserving for you and your time. As I mentioned, it's not something I'm proud of that I don't accept every guest submission, but I worked, these are years now. I mean, over 3 years, the 2 of the shows of weekly shows to put them where they are and give the listeners what they deserve. I mean, the entrepreneur show is about to hit 18,000 and the other one's going to hit like 12,000, a mental health break. So that's during my crackhead hours, I call them, where I'm just constantly recording and doing it. But I'm very humbled and grateful for everyone who takes the time to join me, everyone who takes the time to listen. So thank you everyone today who is taking the time to sit down with Teresa and I. This is not our last collaboration, so stay on the lookout and be sure to check out her books. Type in her name into Google, go to her website. She's got, like I joked before, 25, 30 books, but she has a lot, and they're all valuable in different ways. And do we have a date when this next one's coming out?
This next book is going to come out around Thanksgiving time. We're
Perfect
working
timing.
to get it out during Thanksgiving. Yeah, A Daily Gift of Hope is be out around Thanksgiving, and then I'm shooting for A Daily Gift of Kindness to come out before Christmas. So bring your stories, everybody. Bring your stories. Vincent's bringing his, and
please remember to try to email me a little blurb for these stories so I can just put it in my scheduled posts on LinkedIn and Facebook on my pages.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's the whole thing about this collaboration thing. You help each other. You help each other along.
Well,
and
it's
you give
only entrepreneurship, I think. You in entrepreneurship fields, you go into like the ECC, for example, everybody's like, oh, I could help you here. I could help you here. I could help you here. In other businesses, it's competitive. It's cutthroat. People want to go under your toes. They don't want to help you. In entrepreneurship, it's what it's all about. It's all about helping people.
Yeah, it's all about collaboration, not competition. We help each other
Love
up,
that.
you know? Yeah, so, all right, again, go to Vincent A Lanci, LANCI.com and
And
read
go
all about
grab going to
Vincent.
school for the toddlers in your life. If you don't have
Yeah.
kids, and even if you don't know Spanish, here's a little sneak. In the back of the book, I conjugate each verb in English and Spanish. So if you're learning
Me
English
too.
for adults too, I want this to start the home. Every page has an activity on it. I mean, the colors in all the languages, because the next activity is to color the school bus.
Yeah,
And to practice the letters, tracing them. I mean, you name it. This book was a lot. I mean, 2 years almost of going through it, and that recovering perfectionist, like many of us entrepreneurs.
I'm raising my hand for that, recovering perfectionist.
Yeah, just let it out. But thank you again, Teresa, for taking the time to interview me. I look forward to resharing clips of this and directing them to your page on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, all that good stuff. And everyone, be
Good
sure
stuff.
to check out all the great work Teresa does. She's got a lot. Be sure to give it the time.
Thank you so much. Now I feel like I'm the one being interviewed and I get the kudos for this. It's awesome. Again, collaboration. I want to thank everyone for listening. Vincent, thank you so much for being part of my show today. I appreciate you more than you will even know. And for all the listeners out there, just like Vincent and I are doing, make a difference in the lives of someone else. Make sure the words that you speak are making a difference in the life of another person. You'll both benefit from it. Lots of people are benefiting from good conversation. Turn off the television, pick up the phone, call somebody you love, tell them you love them, give them a little good thing to hold on to for the day, and then move on to the next person. Anytime somebody comes into your mind, it means that you need to talk to that person. So say hello, tell them you love them, give them something to be hopeful for, and enjoy the conversation that you have with them.
All right,
So
see you
every
soon,
conversation
Teresa.
you have, you're making a difference. Have a good day, everybody. See you next
Bye.
time.
All right, that went great.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely send me the video. I'll get to it sometime soon and chop it up and send people to your page.
Tune in next time for Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our producer Rachel and to our station owner Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.